days here went away.
You are terrific people. You've done a fantastic job, and we're with you all the way. You know this. Would you like me to step into this? I'd be very proud to do it. Okay, let's do it.
I said, hey, I'm over here. I want to call Chairman Jim. And we got to meet, and we're going to go. Thank you.
The relationship that we've developed has meant so much to so many people, and I want to thank you. It's been great. It's been great.
Hello and welcome, fellow digital soldiers, to True Reporting. It is the 1st of July. We are 3 days away from July 4th, probably the reinstatement of freedom into our country. And on today's podcast, we will be going over a couple articles today. We'll go over some memes. We will talk about that historic walk with Kim Jong-un and our president, Donald J. Trump. But before we get into this, my friends, would you please welcome my new sponsor, MyPatriotSupply.com. Hey guys, we've seen some devastating weather disasters recently. Too much of our nation's farmland remains underwater, and storms continue to rake the heartland, knocking out power repeatedly to millions. It's been a bad year so far, and hurricane and wildfire seasons are just getting underway. When emergencies strike and the power goes out closing stores, you should have a backup food supply standing by, in your home, ready for use. Have you seen the 2-week food supply and a locking tote from My Patriot Supply? If not, get online now and get one. Right now, this 2-week emergency food kit is being sold at 45% off the regular price when you go to my special website, preparewithtruereporting.com. Breakfast, lunches, and dinners that last up to 25 years. My Patriot Supply ships fast too. In one business day, it's right to your door. When it's breaking news, it's too late to prepare. Do this now so there are no surprises. And save 45% at preparewithtruereporting.com. That's preparewithtruereporting.com. All right, my friends, good to have you aboard. Let's go ahead and hop into it. This is True Reporting. So I got a short and sweet one for you today, a good summary of maybe what this walk meant and what we are striving for. And I believe that the alliance, that 17, is pushing for world peace. That is the end goal. I believe breaking away, destroying the cabal, bringing back in a new gold standard banking system. That's what we need, and to free us of the evil, which we are doing. We are eradicating the evil. So I wanted to show you this post from Anonymous, and then I'll go over a couple memes, and we will round it up. A short and sweet one today for you. So from Anonymous, this is from yesterday. It says, worldwide markets wake up and celebrate after G20 and that walk. Markets are decidedly risk on as they open this evening. Treasuries are being dumped along with gold and stocks, and yuan are surging. Dow futures is up about 186 points. Remember the device from the last few weeks, never short a dull market, as this is a perfect example as to how the thing you most expect with your strategy turns against you, even though you think you are right. You don't have to always write in, because you won't be all the time, but sticking to a strategy that tells you to do the one thing while the actual reality or performance of the markets is drastically different is fatal to your bank account. Tread lightly on that side. If you are short, you have a nervous night ahead. Been there before, and it is no fun at all. The biggest reaction for now is in the yuan, spiking to an 8-week high. The line in the sand for this is rapidly approaching. It is just below 7. Get there, and the PBOC fires up the press again, if they have not already. Saudi Arabia and the Russians have agreed to yet another round of production cuts. See story in the headline below. This is a slippery slope for Saudi Arabia. Russia is okay, as they are not afraid of a failed nation that has no other reverend source it can depend on. I do not envy MBS, even though I like him a lot. So, he says here, as a bigly job to turn that ship around, he has handed an almost unattainable situation in my honest opinion. Weighing on these cuts is the fact that our crude output has been steadily rising, crude oil, and is a large reason that Iran keeps inventing ways to try and spike the prices of oil for its own benefit. So the more the OPEC cuts production, the more our crude supply becomes relevant. See how that works, Iranian government? And F you too, Pepe, that has nothing against the honest citizens of the world. I like that. Russian President Vladimir Putin, after meeting with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, opened the door to 2020 by mooting longer curves. Treasury futures slid 13 ticks and Fed funds dropped over 5 ticks. Treasury futures slid 13 ticks and the Fed funds dropped over 5 ticks. That's huge. That whole Federal Reserve is going to be gone, I'm telling you. As the market scaled back to the probability of a 50 basis point rate cut this month to around 13% from near 50% a week ago. China agreed to make unspecified new purchases of U.S. farm products and return to the negotiating table. That is huge, right? The dollar's gains took some off the shine of off gold, which fell to 1.2% to $1,392.56 per ounce. Remember the warning Pepe gave you about the CumEx traders and the iron grip a paper market has on a physical asset? The bit around number of about 1,400 per ounce has been breached now. So those positions will now begin to have some decision made on them. The overall volume on the rise from 1,300 to 1,350 was pretty low. So if it gets back down to 1,350, it could quickly see sub 1,300 fast. If you own physical gold, you need to ignore the daily, weekly price swings. In it, you own it, and nothing can change that. Let the paper traders of the ETFs and the contracts sweat it out. You don't have to. The herd trade is long gold at around 24 pounds roughly. That open, or 24 billion roughly. The open interest right now from 26 billion. And the CFTC does not have the ability to pay this out, so expect some fireworks. As a reminder, the U.S. markets are closed on Thursday and have a shortened day on July 3rd. Each market will close early at 1 p.m. 1:15 p.m. for eligible options on Wednesday, July 3rd, 2019. CME Fed watch futures have ticked down a little bit, but they still need to cut rates for the benefit of the banking institutions that trade fixed income. The Fed funds rate could be cut too. That's huge. The Fed funds rate could be cut too. I'm just reiterating, guys. They don't want to admit this as it plays right into our hands, but this is a fact. Sucks to be you, Federal Reserve. Absolutely. Some headlines. Oil prices rise more than 1% after Russia agrees to extend OPEC plus deal. Gold sinks most in a year as trade truce deals blow to the bulls. In a few hours, this will be the longest economic expansion on record. That is huge, my friends. So, what does this mean? This means that there was so much more that had to do with G20. Deals were made. Positions were placed, and that walk with Kim Jong-un was significant. Remember, we are in a year in advance. This had been planned. We are watching a movie, and I'm telling you that America is about to be extremely rich, debt-free, cut from the Federal Reserve, and moving forward in progression. A progression in humanity, and a lot of happiness is going to be placed down on the American people, rightfully so, in my honest opinion. Let's get into some memes real quick and we'll round it up. So from George at the Collective Q, peace is the prize. Absolutely. This is what we are seeing. Again, reiterating on this being a movie, we know that we are in a timeline of where the world view is now being shown to us, what has already taken place. Returning power back to the people. I felt this to be quite relevant, so let's go ahead and check this out. This is from a post from 17 from March 6th. Never in our history has a communication project such as this taken place. Returning power back to the people, truth, transparency, and equal justice under the law. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men and women, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of the government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Reagan, United We Stand, July 4th, 2019. Where we go one, we go all. Never, and I mean never, has there been such a coordinated effort by the mainstream media to denounce a conspiracy theory. What are they scared of? If they consider conspiracy theories to be so dangerous, why had they not asked at Real Donald Trump to comment, denounce on the phenomenon? And then we can see here as we zoom in, look at all of this. A little blurry, but I'm sure we can make it out. We are you-know-who, 17, a deranged conspiracy cult leaps from the internet to crowd at Trump's MAGA tour. You-know-who, 17, is the one conspiracy theory to rule them all. What is 17? Explaining the internet conspiracy theory that showed up at a Trump rally. 17, the scarily popular pro-Trump conspiracy theory explained from The Guardian. And we see the rapist right here. What is 17? Explaining the bizarre right-wing conspiracy theory. 17, the conspiracy theory explained after Q posters spotted at Trump's Florida rally. Unhinged conservative conspiracy theory goes mainstream at Trump's Tampa rally. What is 17? Conspiracy theorists show up to support Trump at Tampa rally. And it goes on and on and on. And my friends, that is it for today's podcast. A short and sweet one, but we are in the right direction. I can promise you this, that this will move quite steadily and we will get there before we even know it. I believe we are already there. My friends, if you found this informative and you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on Twitter at TRUreporting. We just hit 12,000 followers, a milestone in my opinion. And if you would care to donate to this channel and keep it afloat, you most certainly can by going to my PayPal or Patreon in the description box below. We also have a P.O. box if that interests you. Guys, please be kind and loving to one another, and I will speak with you very soon. Have a wonderful Monday. Bye-bye.